Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab, where I do what I do for you. Even in the new year, ain't nothing changed but the date. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by, storytelling, story with a message and story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinkers mission. That's what I'm on. It's to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission to get all you right thinking followers to do just that. With the information and things I'm gonna give you is to do just that for you. I do what I do for you. Let's go. I asked the question: do you know you? A lot of us think we do, and that's fine. But if you don't, tune in. That's what I do for you. Help you know yourself with information and knowledge of self that you can implement and find out for yourself. It works. Let's go. Know thyself is the question, but a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows what knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. A back position. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. And in light of what's going on, I don't want to rag on nobody, and I don't want to try to make myself look smarter or better than anybody else by ragging on them on their misfortune, their downfall. But I took a lesson. I hope I can get this across without seeming facetious or disrespectful. The title is Right Thinking. Let's talk about ego pleasure, which is self, spiritual pleasures, which is the higher self, or the spiritual self, lower, higher. I'm trying to get you to raise your consciousness from lower. We all start out on the beastly nature. That's why it's called the beastly nature. Lower nature is beastly, and it's all physical, all sexual. I don't play this game, but got a little lesson for you. Hopefully, you get my point. Let's go. When you're egoistic, I try to teach my students, you love physical pleasures. When I was young, call myself a ladies man. I'm getting mine. So yeah, that's all ego. It's satisfying itself through sexual pleasures, deviant acts, whatever perverted situation, but it's happy because it's getting what it wants. That's the ego self. Watch this. Now, that's the pleasures. And all your desires are of the physical nature. Monetary things, clothes, women, all those things that make you look good and feel good that don't really amount to much in the end. But when we go into that nonsense, we don't know that. Okay. Now, when I call you egoistic, I'm saying you live below your waist. Your lower nature runs you. So if a pretty girl go by, nice look, oh, you gone. I used to be that guy. Call myself a ladies man. That it looked good. My first wife, biggest mistake I ever made. I married for the wrong reasons. X didn't work out. Okay, so that told me, well, it ain't so much that. So okay, now second time, I went with somebody who I thought knew me. Well, because they know me. Okay, but my change, they didn't change. They still was, street. Okay, that didn't work out, so I moved on. Now, third go around, third time the charm. Somebody who cares about my health and welfare better than anybody ever did. So I'm comfortable with somebody who cares about me. So all that, how I look, how long you know me, means nothing. Get somebody. And remember, young people, marry somebody who loves you. Don't marry the one you love. Just a little tidbit from the old head. I'm Just trying to tell you. If you look good, beware. Let's go. Just a quick lesson. But let's talk about this ego and everybody just want to have fun. And if you a man of stature and prestige, there's some things you can't do. I'll leave that there. Right thinkers, we live above our waist. I don't drink. I don't do the strip club. I don't make it rain. I don't do none of that. And my life is just as full and rich as the next one. If you need that to make you happy, so be it. But there's a price to pay for that. They say it's self-defeating once you get caught cheating. Why? Because you ain't gonna want to pay them dues. Humiliation and all the stuff that come with that. Now it's time to pay up. Some of us don't want to do that. So you don't want to pay, don't cheat. Moving on. Now, self-mastery is what? Controlling your ego self. Meaning I'm gonna raise my consciousness so I don't live below my waist. The ego has to be fed. That's the beast. That's the beast. It wants what it wants. And if sex is your will, okay, you will have it with male, female. Don't make a difference. I tell you a story about Haru and his uncle when they was fighting. He said, okay, call a truce. So he invited him over to his house and tried to do him. Or he went to his mother and mom, he tried to do me. So that perverted act ain't just done it. And it's been wrong. It ain't never been right. How about that? Man, oh man, ain't never been right. So moving on, I ain't getting caught up in nonsense. But if a married man having sex with another man, they got a name for that. MAM or something. No, I call it homosexual, undercover, whatever. But it ain't never good. Just saying. As a master, right thinker, my sexual desires are what? Under control. I tell you, I don't cheat because I'm married. I don't cheat because of my pride and my integrity and my respect for myself. If more of that was done, a lot less cheating to be going on. Again, the shift, the consciousness. We are a bunch of ignorant people, and I'm just saying that because we just shown we are. So when we gonna start realizing that being ignorant is what's holding us back? That's a major problem. Lack of knowledge will destroy our people. We ain't trying to get knowledge, so we're going to stay in destruction mode. Self-destruction for most of us. Why? Because we're going to do any and everything to what? Satisfy the ego that we mostly live on. A lot of us ignorant people are ego-driven. And those who are successful by the ego, they ain't trying to stop until they get caught. Moving on. And they're not sorry that they were what they're doing. They sorry they got caught doing it. So it's a difference. When a person is just wrong, they didn't worry about being right. They know they're wrong. They just mad or upset that they got caught doing it. Now they got to be responsible for it. So, okay, again, I don't control, excuse me, as a master, right thinker, my sexual desires are under control. My sexual desires don't control me. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So my consciousness is above the human fetters of just satisfying myself and doing things I like to do. There's consequences that come with that. Just like there's blessings that come from doing the right thing. That's what I choose to do, the right thing. You can too. That's my point to help you. Let's go. Now, let's talk about the ego. The ego is the I in me, and it loves to be coddled, satisfied, and catered to. We see that. In ancient times, when you had a Rome, you had these guys, the dictators, one person can do whatever he want. That's not good. That's really not good. Why? You got these perverted people who gonna act like they perversion on innocent people who that ain't fair. That's all I'm saying. So when they got the power to do that, just mistreating people and using people for your sexual pleasures, your deviated pervert concept is just wrong. Moving on. If you serve your ego self, 9 times out of 10, pleasures of the flesh is what you live for, not God. You may claim to be a God-fearing man, but in the daytime, you God-fearing, but at night, you on the prowl, you the pervert, you the predator, all that. That's not living a righteous life. That's living a double life. That's called serving two masters. Serve you in the daytime, serve me at night. If you're going to serve God, I tell you, integrity is serving him when anybody watching. And then you do nonsense and you put it on tape. So I'm just like, I couldn't get. Ah! The ego self wants and will only serve itself. The ego ain't going to serve God until you put him in the service position by putting him down and don't let him have a say so. So when he do got something to say, he's doing what you want him to do. So he's in service mode, not in the control mode. He should not ever drive. It only gonna serve itself, hence self-destructive. It don't think, it ain't rational, it just wants, and it's gonna continue to want. And if you try to satisfy it, you're gonna have a bunch of personal issues that you gotta deal with because you caused them. And a lot of times we involve other people in our nonsense. That's another part with that. Moving on. I tell you how I had the means to satisfy my ego back in the day. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I had it, everything I wanted to get what I want. And I did that with money and sex. Those two things that made me happy. Making money and having my way. See? When it's all said and done, when the money run out, ain't no more sex happening. Why? Because without the money, you ain't getting sex. You know, sex has always been a business, fellas. Okay? Women know that they can sell that. Y'all buying just looking at it. I can't subscribe to that. That's why I'm doing the strip. I'm not gonna give you money just to look at you. You can forget that. So that's just me. Moving on. If if you're a streetwalker or depend on me, you going broke. I tell my Bob, I'm glad you retired. Why? Because you're waiting for me to be a customer. You might get me once, twice a year, so you can't make a living off of me. Moving on. I called myself when I was doing that nonsense a ladies' man. When I got my situation, got my legs cut in the hospital, so when I'm up to the cast from my ankles to my nuts, I got 9 women in my room. I'm doing all of them, and they all knew it. So that's just that guy. Moving on. Yeah, women will put up with anything. They don't care. So a lot of times y'all complain when you get upset because it don't work. But when it's happening, you with the program. Moving on. I call myself a ladies' man. Yeah, other people call me a whore. You just keep running through. Every day you come and make it. Yeah. Hello, ego tripping. Okay. Yeah, I slept around. Like what the fuck? I got around. Yeah, man. I ain't going there. Moving on. Now, my ego's motto, and I was sworn to fun and loyal to none. I didn't care. I'm gonna do whoever I want to do when I want to do them. If it's okay with them, you got no say so what. If it ain't you, shut up. And if you don't want to deal with me, that's fine too. See, I thought I was the prize, so I'm the man. Okay, y'all here for me. Get it? So that was my ego self again. Now I'm loyal to one. Could care about the fun. What? I don't need the fun. Mm-mm. I pass. Moving on. If you think you entice me with women, don't waste your time. You think you can get me with money? Again, try something else for the past. Moving on. Let me do this. I get talking my mouth. All right, here you go. Now, understand this. We got spirit, which is eternal, which is the essence of who we are. It's not physical. Why? The human body is for earthly bound situations. It's 5 senses that you have to rely on to deal with. Spirituality is the next level. Let's talk about right quick. Now, what we got here? Physical is the spirit is eternal, not physical. It's all mental. That's why it's spiritual. Higher up. We are again spiritual beings having a human experience. We're here for a reason, to learn a lesson, whatever your reason is to be here. The spirit is not new. It's been here, been around a long time. Your job is to wake it up, for you to get to know who you are and send it back home. If not, you're going to die. Your memory will be erased, and someone else will be in that spirit and moving on. Next one. That's the fact of life. As simple as that. Let's go. But if you can live right, you can avoid what? Reincarnation. That's the name of the game for the Egyptians. They didn't want to come back. Okay, they wanted to go home. They had it figured out, and they lived that way for thousands of years. That's my point. That's the part that I keep trying to tell y'all. I didn't go there for nothing. No, I don't care about the names. I know no none of that. I want to know how they live. That's what I found out. That's what I'm bringing to you. That's what I do. Okay. Right thinking, watch this, is what your brain was built for. Become conscious of who you are so what you can know thyself. And thy, for those who don't know, is God. So know your God self. That's your higher self. Whatever you want to call it. But you need to understand there's a reason and purpose that they left that one phrase. Because they could have said a whole lot of stuff. They knew a whole lot of stuff. They did a whole lot of stuff. But they know when it come down to it, if I got to make my point clear with less words as possible, know thyself would be it. Perfect, perfect legacy left. So what we need to do, lack of knowledge destroys us. So knowing ourselves is self-knowledge, the best knowledge you can have. Excuse me. God is spirit, not physical. The human body is physical. He's in the flesh. He's in his own creation. Het Hadu. He lives in his own house. The house is spiritual. The body is the house. His spirit is in the house. Hence, he lives in his own house. That's the spirit. That's in man. That's us. And watch this. The ego is your identification, your physical self, and the senses, which is conscious of what? The five senses that govern the body. That's physical. Your higher self is mental. That's what they call it spiritual. The ego is what? Watch this. Is I. That's you without God. I am brings God in. That's you without God, aka ignorant of your higher self. Again, God. When you believe or think you know God, and because what if you ain't living, if you ain't experiencing him, you don't know him. You have ideas about him, you can have concepts and theories, but until you have your own God experience, you might not know God. I can tell you without a doubt. A lot of us have ideas and concepts about God, but miss the God experience, miss the synchronicity when God shows you himself through things that you do. He'll show you, yeah, you keep doing that. I keep making the doors open for you. All that good stuff that y'all taught, y'all ain't living it. If you did, you would know. Yeah, they said all the right stuff. Why? Because it's good stuff. If you follow it, you would know that. I ain't a Christian, and I know that. But it's some other stuff in there that I know about that y'all hell bent on, so we ain't dealing with that. But again, your ego self is the physical self, and you need to raise to become spiritual. Why? Because the physical body will keep you here. The ego is that what? I without the am. I am is you and God, not just me, aka I. If you are a God follower or believer, you just I. And you identify yourself who you are and you claim to believe in God. Uh-uh. You should be a Gnostic. You should know God. You're a right thinker. I want you to know him for yourself. Anything I didn't do with preaching and teaching. No, you should have an own experience with God. Then you can serve him in earnest and understanding and in spirit. That's what you do. Why what? Living and doing what he wants you to do, and he'll take care of you. Remember, you take one step to him, he's gonna take two to you. He's gonna always double what your output is. Why? He got it like that. Moving on, let's go. If you're spiritually enlightened, you're right thing. And sexual pleasures are not an option for you to be happy. Trust me, you can do without it. You got monks, you got the church. I see how these monasteries, okay, yeah, I don't agree with that, but yeah, you can go there if you obligate to God. Sex ain't on the agenda. Sex is for the physical body. The urges, that's all physical. I did 3 years in prison, okay? Trust me. Moving on. When you're spiritual, you're thinking and doing what's right for your higher self. He ain't never asked you to please him, okay? But doing the right thing for what? God, not yourself. I give self a service. I do things for other people. And you don't owe me jack. All right things who get my knowledge, understanding, and using it, you don't owe me nothing. I'm getting mine. Trust me. Trust me. Okay, so you don't owe me jack. I'm not gonna ask you to send me money, none of that nonsense. I'm just gonna keep giving you knowledge of self. And the better you get, the less that number that we got that being ignorant will start to go down. That's my goal. And I enjoy spiritual pleasures. Why? When I fellowship with my spiritual people, aka church family, church family, That's a beautiful place. Why? Because everybody's happy, they're feeling good. Why? Because we got God consciousness and we all functioning on a high vibrational level, which is spiritual, which is raises, ain't no physical, ain't no touchy feely, ain't no perversion. None of that goes on in the spiritual realm in a good environment. I call it kumbaya. That means we all vibrating on the same level. Godly. Okay? Now, when you're spiritual and religious, you covered what? From top to bottom. Now you got your religious aspect, which is okay, fine. If you can live by that, you cover yourself. But with right thinking knowledge, oh, you good to go. Why? You covering both head to toe. Okay? No weaknesses, no flaws in your character. Why? Because you covered on both sides. Okay? Remember, it don't hurt to follow a concept that works. Simple as that. And all spiritual, excuse me, I'm all spiritual, not physical. Why? I live from a mental, spiritual aspect. I can love you spiritually. I can love you from a distance. I don't have to touch you. I ain't got to kiss you. I ain't got to make love to you physically, period. So we need to get that frame of mind. We think love, we think sex. Love don't mean sex. Love is a feeling, an emotion that you can share. It ain't always between the sheets. And because she look good, because he's handsome. Stop putting him in your bed, okay? In your mind, you done undressed him, and yeah, that's a you issue. That's that beastly nature. Control that, and you'll be fine. Moving on. Again, I'm not a touchy feely type dude. I don't like that. Handshake with the men, fist bump with the females. I'm good with that. Why? I don't want that whole connotation. Ooh, he touched me wrong. Ooh, I felt. Ooh, he that. I don't have time for that. That's why I avoid those scenarios by doing just that. Yeah, I'm good with the fist bump. Ooh, we good. See. Now, if you like, let me move on. I ain't about to go there. I'm about to get out of pocket. Nope. Yeah, time right now. Let me wrap this up. Again, last one. I love sex as much as anybody else. Oh, come on, man. But right thinking philosophy in my little in prison teaching me it ain't the end all be all. Trust me, life will go on. Moving on. Right there. I'm wrapping up. Now, before I went to prison, again, when I was rolling, I would satisfy my sexual desires daily, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. I'm just saying, yeah. So I was doing that. Why? That's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. But after 3 years of not having your sexual desires fulfilled, I learned a valuable lesson now. A real value. If you think you can get me with sex, you got the wrong person. Why? I did 3 years without that thing. It ain't all about that. I didn't come home thinking I had to get something. Oh, no, didn't do that nonsense either. I learned a valuable lesson. I raised my conscious level from the BC level of just realizing, though, okay, yeah, now I'm better for it. So trust me, fellas, self-control, and that's what right thinker teaches, is being able to what? Control your sexual desires. Wait, I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. Whenever it arises, you should be able to smooth that thing out. Why? I ain't say I don't think about it. I ain't say it don't, man, but you gotta control it. If you don't control your thoughts, you gonna have problems. So yeah, a pretty woman walked by, okay, in my mind, yeah. But back in my day, I'm trying to get that. Why? It ain't just in my mind. I'm trying to make it happen. That's the difference. You can think all you want. Just let it go. It's a passive thought. Yeah, okay, move on. But when you make that thought, start now you become a predator. You become what's that, stalker? All that nonsense. What for pleasure? All you want to do is get pleasure. That's crazy to me. So understand that. I ain't ever been accused of assaulting nobody sexually. Ever, ever. Women, okay, now everyone I dealt with, we like, what is it? I'm not taking a bullying or no, I don't do that, drugging them. I ain't got time for that nonsense. So yeah, again, when you satisfying your ego, there's certain things you're gonna do, and that's one of them. Okay, moving on. Now, if we would not put more value, excuse me, if we would put more value on what our body, young ladies, sex will be controlled. Why? We always have prostitutes. If you want to go, and you got a house of ill repute. A guy got two houses. You got the church over here, the house of every repute. Your decision. You got to have it, good and bad. Yeah, you can have it spiritual. You can have physical. What you want? Most people go to the house of every repute willingly. Why? Because they want to satisfy their desires, and that's fine. But the other guy who go there, he crazy. Really? See, that's the difference. So move on. Call me crazy at this point. Why? I'm not going in there. Simple. I ain't hanging out with TDJ. Simply duty. That's what they do. I don't subscribe to that. Let's go wrap it up. Spiritual pleasures is what you get when you're serving your higher self and you feel good about doing it over physical pleasures where all you're doing is receiving, yeah. That don't last but so long. My spiritual pleasure can go on and on and on. Now, once you reach the climax, once you reach ecstasy with that good feeling, the body shuts down. Why you ain't got no more? Spiritually, I don't have to worry about that. That's the difference. So let me explain this to you one more last time. Spiritual pleasures over physical pleasures mean what? Mean you're a right thinker. Are you? I'm out. I am.